brother Corin. Welcome to the potty.
Mr. Noah.
So good to see
you.
you.
I'm good, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. How's the car woes? You came in here with the
Yeah.
car story. What's going
I've
on?
had some pretty interesting things happen to me in the last 24 hours. So what happened first was I was in Raitahi for the weekend, just a weekend away with the missus and such. And I come home and my back window was smashed, unfortunately. Yeah.
Classic Raitahi. Yeah, classic
we
Raitahi.
didn't take it. We took her van up, so I don't know why I rolled my R just then, but so we took her van, and then my car was just sitting at home. Yeah, and then I come home. I was about to go do some laundry, and then so they smashed the back of my car, my window, and then they pulled out what's underneath the wheel.
Yeah.
So they try to like hot wire and stuff like that.
Fuck.
And then so that bit was in my passenger side, and I was like, oh, what the heck? Like the lights were off. And I was like, oh, what the heck is that? And I was like looking, and I turned the lights on. Lights weren't flickering on, so the lights were like, my top lights were off.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what the heck is this?
No way.
And then like I kind of spotted the window behind me, and my window was broken.
Was that the one last night?
Yep. So this is last night, and then I was like, oh, whoa, okay. So I cleaned that up, and then I went to the laundromat to do my laundry, and I was feeling a bit down, so I got some Krispy Kreme to
Cheer it up.
Yeah. I was feeling a bit down, so I was like, oh, screw it, why not? I was eating my Krispy Kreme, just minding my own damn business, as you do.
As you do, as a person on the Kapiti Coast.
Yeah. And then unfortunately someone backed into me, so
you have the double whammy, bro.
Yeah, it was a bit of a double whammy. But yeah, what do you do?
Damn, did they steal anything from your car? They just try to steal
they
it?
actually didn't. So there was actually heaps of stuff in my car, which I'm actually pretty amazed. Like there was like a massage gun in my car and gloves and some other tools and stuff from work. So I'm actually pretty surprised they didn't steal anything. So I guess it was just one of those things. They were keen on a joyride, but
bro,
there wasn't much joy in it. Yeah,
bro,
so
that sucks. That sucks. But you made it here.
I made it here. The car still works.
Mean. And fresh off King of the Ring. So how many weeks ago was that, bro? Was it?
I think we're coming up 4 now.
Coming
4
up
weeks
4.
Ago. Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
Just so fucking proud of you, eh? Like
Noah.
having all of the boys around at the flat, watching you on TV in HD.
Yeah.
Dude, it was, you know, when you see your boys, your brothers, your friends achieve shit, it just fills you up with your own motivation. And dude, we were all just jumping for joy, just fully behind you. But do you want to speak on what that competition meant for you, bro?
Yes. Yeah. So for those that don't know, King of the Ring is New Zealand's own special 8-man little tournament. No one else in the world. Well, obviously you had K1, but no one else in the world does it right now, where they have you essentially fight 3 fights in one night. You fight 3 times in one night. And against not just anyone, it's
the best.
8 of the best in the country. Yeah. So just being a part of it and being able to say that I was able to compete against the best, you know, and maybe even potentially being one of the best now. So it's a pretty humbling experience just to, and it's more the coverage that it got and the after. And now everyone's kind of like, you know, even like just random places that I go, everyone's like, whoa, dude, like I actually know who you are. It's like, whoa. That's a buzzy one. Even when we were at Mardi Gras the other week, we were having some fun there, and like people were coming up to me then, and I was like, oh, what the fuck, like, yeah, this is buzzy as. So it's nice to just know that I guess I can have that impact on people, and it's just one of those stepping stones of, like if you want to be a professional combat sports athlete, especially in New Zealand, you kind of have to tick off that King of the Ring, King of the Ring tournament, and win those 3 fights. And even though I got to the semi-finals and it didn't maybe necessarily go my way on the night,
bro, and we'll get to that. Mate, your first fight, quarterfinals, you're matched up with Oscar, who is picked to be, you know, the favorite for the whole competition. I saw the draw. Well, I was just like, fuck. Obviously, still having full. Cheers to the Spades. We're drinking some Summer Ultra low carb on a Monday.
Beyond the surface, Spades mates, come on,
jump on board.
Sponsors.
And I remember seeing that you're matched up with Oscar. Like, still full faith you'd fuck him up, but being like, oh man, this could be an absolute war. Do you want to speak through that first fight, bro? So, and what were you thinking when you got matched with Oscar first?
Yeah. So in my head, it went exactly how I thought it was going to go. The whole night went exactly how I thought it was going to go. how I thought it was going to go. I knew I was going to get Oscar first, and I knew I was going to get Mike Cuppy second.
Really?
Straight up.
Really?
Straight up. I obviously wanted like someone else. I didn't necessarily. You always kind of want the easiest path, but in my head, what I visualized in my head, I always thought I was going to get Oscar first, and then I was going to get Mike Cuppy second. I just had a feeling that was going to happen, you know. So for me, when so we had the weigh-ins, which was the Friday night, and you draw names out of the hats, and
so Kiwi,
yeah,
pretty sophisticated.
yeah. So we drew. So there was 4 of us that drew names from the hats, and I was one of the people that drew. And yeah, I drew the favorite. I drew Oscar Remihana, and he's Remihana rather, and he's on that pedestal. The hype was around him because he is that guy. He's killed everyone. You know, his record's something crazy like 30 wins and 7 losses or something like
Looks
that.
Looks like a scary motherfucker
too.
too.
Yeah, and he's a bad man. Like he's a bad man for a reason. Like it's because he's killed everyone. So, and he was supposed to roll everyone. You know, he was supposed to roll through the division, and that was kind of his next step into that world scene. So, when I drew Oscar, I knew it was meant to be. I was like, this is exactly how I thought the plan was going to be. So at first I was like, oh shit, you know, like. This is happening. This is real. I'm in it now. And then we kind of faced off, and I was like, yeah. So, and then on the day, I was a little bit nervous when I woke up, just because, you're going against the best in the country, and
biggest fight show in the country.
Yeah. This is my biggest fight to date. Yeah. So, for me, I woke up. I was feeling a bit nervous. And I was like, man, well, this is real. Like this is actually going to be happening tonight. So. I had a bit of a stretch. I had a feed, like I had breakfast, and then I had a second breakfast, and then after that, I kind of calmed down. The tension eased a little bit, and I started to focus in and zero in, and I understood what I was there to do. Yeah, and that was probably all before 10 a.m. So, and then through there, like the day kind of rolled past. We got to the venue, and I was just so zoned in. Once we started warming up. I've never felt that zoned in my life, and it was such an amazing feeling, like just being like where everything you're just completely zoned into your own breath, into fully in the moment, And I've never really experienced it to that extent before.
What are you telling yourself during those moments?
It's a hard one because obviously your mind's in my mind, it's always saying something. Something is always being said, but I felt. In myself that I was everything. I was just so zeroed in. I was so focused in the warm up, and going to the venue in the warm up. I was just so zeroed in and ready to go. I was ready to go. So it's a hard one to explain just because you don't really know that feeling unless you've experienced it before. Yeah.
So you just felt on.
Yes, I just felt on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then going to the fight. Did the fight play out the way that you thought it would?
More or less. I thought he was going to be a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once we got through that first round, and then you could definitely argue, we thought that he won that round, the first round, and I thought he was going to be a lot stronger just because he's knocked out everyone, with his arsenal. He's killed everyone, so I thought he was definitely going to be a lot stronger, but I think it pretty much did play out exactly how I thought it was going to. I knew it was going to go the distance. I knew that he was going to come out hard in that first round and then kind of ease off in that second and third, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. So
yeah, and you're such a fast starter. Do you feel that as well? Does it, because for some fighters it takes them a while to get going. They might need to get a few jabs to the face or some leg kicks.
Exactly. But bit of a wake up.
A bit of a wake up. But you're straight into it. It looked like you were using a lot of combos, finishing with the leg kicks, a lot of rips to the body. How did that all play out for you?
I was just having some fun. Yeah. I was just having fun. Yeah, you kind of like, obviously you kind of want to take, especially in that kind of 8-man tournament, you want it round by round, right? You can't really think about what's next. It's just solely on that one round. And to be honest, once we kind of got through that first, and then second and third, I was just having fun. I was just having so much fun. It was awesome just being able to be on TV, be able to show what I'm capable of on to the nation, really,
Yeah.
you know. And so I was just having some fun.
Mate, I love the post-fight interview as well.
Yeah.
Like one of the funniest things with King of the Ring is listening to all of the other fighters. Like, dude, they need some fucking coaching, bro. They need some coaching. It's like, it is so bad and cringe to listen to sometimes, but like, it's so fucking funny. But did you, like, surely that was pre-planned?
A little
what you
bit,
said?
yeah. Just because, obviously the coast does the most, so it's got to be ripped somewhere, one way or another, you know, and someone has to do it. And on that night, it was me ripping the coast. Yeah,
Bro, unreal. So you got through Oscar, and then you had your next fight in the semifinals. Didn't go the way you probably wanted to go.
Planned. Yeah, so
that guy's got heavy hands, man.
Yeah,
heavy hands.
He's a bad man. Sorry, bro.
You're good.
He's a bad man. Mike Cuppy, you know, he's a veteran of the sport. Really, he's been around, not just King of the Ring, but in, you know, K1 kickboxing, Muay Thai. He's been around for years, way longer than I've been around. You know, and he's twice my age and twice the experience. So, and I love the guy. He's such an awesome dude. Real chill as, cool as, you know, like cool headed. So it was just one of those high risk, high rewards ones where he just kind of threw out the hand, and then my temple just happened to be right in the spot where it needed to be, and I got knocked the fuck out. But it wasn't very long, so it was all good.
For those, and like I'm someone who I've never been knocked out before, and what is it like getting sent to the shadow realm, bro?
Yeah, the shadow realm. Well, I wasn't there for very long. No. I was probably there for like maybe not even 10 seconds or so. Yeah. So it's it was pretty interesting because that was my first time ever getting knocked out. Like,
right.
Yeah. In jiu-jitsu, I've been put to sleep, like, you know, countless times.
You go to the dream state.
Yeah, a bit of a dream state. Have you been put to sleep in jiu-jitsu
close.
yet?
My feet got real tingly.
Yeah.
Like almost like vertigo.
And
then it was with the gi.
Yes.
Just
bit
like
of
a slow burner.
choke. Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, it's a buzzy one, like fully going out. But especially going to sleep, like it literally just feels like you're going to sleep. It's real weird.
Yeah.
It's real weird. And then like you wake up and you're like, whoa, what the frick just happened?
That's
and
me.
then,
Let's do it again.
Yeah, pretty much, bro.
It's kind of like at school where you used to you know, everyone used to pass out.
Yeah.
That was like how you'd
exactly.
pass time back in the day.
Yeah.
You'd like get something to push against your chest and hyperventilate.
Yeah. And then you just like end up on the ground and they'll be like, whoa, you're right. And it's like, yeah, that was amazing. Let's do it again. Yeah, so it's exactly the same feeling. And then with like the initial getting knocked out was fine. Like I was fine. I was sweet as. I was in high spirits. Like it was all good. I understood what happened. I was good.
Yeah.
But the concussion, and still dealing with the concussion, it's been pretty buzzy, like just because I've never had a proper concussion before, and just the symptoms of having a concussion has been pretty interesting, just in terms of like the mood swings and not much. Like I like the first week I was muddling up my words quite well.
Shit.
But now it's more just the mood swings, which have been pretty interesting. Like it's been real interesting actually. So
a bit of like bipolar stuff.
Pretty bipolar. Yeah, pretty bipolar. Like just highs and lows.
Yeah.
And,
because that guy can just absolutely bang, and he
knocked his first guy out.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And fuck, I think it just shows with fighting. This is what I wanted to ask you about. Like, that's you expressing your truest form of self, and not many people can connect to that level of like, you know, primal ability where, you know, you are dialed in, like what you were saying earlier. Like you are like Corin in its total being when you're expressing yourself through this martial arts.
Yes.
And so many people working office jobs on the 9 to 5.
Yep.
They don't have either that hobby or that interest to actually, I believe, really know who they are.
Yes.
And you could see yourself in that moment of vulnerability, you know, when you got hurt, when he dropped you in the first round, and then you got up, you started smiling. What's going through your head there then?
So at that point, I got dropped twice in one round, and then so the rules are with King of the Ring is if you get dropped twice in one round, then that's right. Usually it's 3 times, but for the King of the Ring, so it's just because of, you know, obviously you're fighting multiple times in one night and all that jazz. So if you get dropped twice in one round, then it's all over. So he dropped me in the first one, and I didn't even see it. It was just so fast, I didn't even see it. I kind of blinked and I missed it, and I was on the ground, and I was just like, oh shit.
You're just smiling.
I was just like, damn, he fucking got me, you know? So it was more like what I was thinking. I was like, damn, he got me.
Yeah.
But I was fine. I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. You got me. I get up. pick yourself up, you're sweet as, let's go again. And then the second time, didn't see that one either. Didn't see that one either. So it was more, more or less the same as I think I was thinking, it's over. Yeah, it's all done. It's all she wrote. It's all she wrote, and then I was all good.
Yeah. No,
he's
mate,
okay. He's okay.
You took it like a champ, and when when there was the ending sequence, I was like, fuck that guy. Like, I was real fucked up. And then I heard him on the mic.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's just like Corin.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like the bro.
Yeah. Mike Cuppy, he's an OG. He's an OG of the sport. So yeah.
What does a loss like that teach you, bro?
So much, dude. So I kind of knew, as I was saying before, I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be taking out the whole competition. Like, I just knew in myself that I was just there to learn. I was there to get my reads for the next time. I was just I was dialing in for the next opportunity. Like, so for me, especially in terms of kickboxing is just the learning phase for me. It's the mock exams, if you will, for the bigger picture. Yeah. So I'm extremely happy to lose. I want to lose. I'm looking to lose. So if someone can beat me, that's a good thing. That means I know that I'm versing proper people that are much better than me, that are much more experienced and, much more, maybe even more technical. And then from those fights, I can learn how to be like them, or maybe even better for next time, So kickboxing for me is just getting those niggles out now, so I don't have to do it later down the line in potentially smaller gloves.
Yeah, that's such a good way to put it, like a mock exam. And I think that's the true expression of being a martial artist, is taking learnings, and like
exactly
having a loss on your record, especially when you're on the come up, that doesn't define you. And that's something which I think in boxing they do really poorly.
Yep.
It's all about, like they want to build up that fight. It's the 50-0, like Floyd Mayweather. Someone's O's got to go.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's the cool thing with kickboxing and MMA is it's expected to take losses and their learnings.
Yep. Well, like you're always going to lose in sports, right? Not just sports, obviously in life too, but especially when you look at it in terms of other sports like rugby or something. Like literally the All Blacks just lost on the weekend, and they're on they've out of their last 7 games they've lost like 4 or something like that. So as a human, you're meant to lose, so that's just all a part of learning. So for me, it's just it's those stepping stones to a higher purpose, right? So I'm just getting my reads now, so I don't have to necessarily do them later on in my career and potentially another sport. So yeah, it's it sucks. It definitely sucks. Losing sucks. No one likes to lose, but it's all a part of the process. And there's no better learning like on the go learning, and you learn from losses. So
yeah, that's a beautiful take, man. For yourself, who's just fought in the biggest fight promotion in the country, like let that sink in, man. That's fucking cool.
Yeah,
for little old Aotearoa, if you look at the greats,
yes.
We got the Israel Adesanyas, we got the Dan Hookers,
the Carlos Albergs who's coming up.
It is the stepping stone to make it to that level when you're reaching the UFC.
Yes.
What's your plan for the next 5 years? How are you going to get there?
Yeah, well, you kind of just have to take every day as it comes.
You set some goals, brother, on this podcast.
Beyond the surface, beyond the we'll set some goals.
Bars now.
Yeah, maybe not. But next 5 years, dude. Like, it's especially after what happened 4 weeks ago. Like, it's all looking pretty promising.
Yep.
So, a lot of opportunities have arisen, and we kind of just have to. I try not to look too ahead in the future, just because it does get a bit overwhelming some days, and I do get a bit overwhelmed with the future just because there are so many opportunities and windows to jump on, to pounce on. But obviously the end goal's UFC, the long goal rather is UFC, but or MMA in it is just making some money in MMA really. But for now it's just obviously. I think once this podcast uploads, I've already been doing the move, but I'm moving to Palmy in 2 weeks from now.
What the fuck? You tell me on this podcast now?
Did you not know?
No.
Oh, true.
No, you did tell me.
Yeah, I thought you did know. Yeah. So, 2 weeks from now, I move to Palmy, which is I'll be training at a place and working at a place called Art of Combat, which is Tony Jaggard, the guy that took it out. Yeah.
True.
It's it's where he's been training for. I think he's been in there for maybe less than 6 months. But Jacob Farmer is the head coach in there, and he's a genius. So I'll just pick his brain for the next year or so. Probably, not even probably, definitely do a King of the Ring run with him. And then from there, I'll probably hang up the 10-ounce gloves and then move to
City.
Do the move to City and then move to the more towards the MMA side of things, is because that's this is what MMA's been the goal since I've been 7 years old. So
crazy.
Yeah, kickboxing's just a moment in time for me. Like I've never really thought of myself as a kickboxer. That's just how we do it in New Zealand, you know, for combat sports. That kickboxing's just always kind of been there. So yeah, I'll do one more year of kickboxing. Hopefully, about to take that 8-man title, and then do the move to professional MMA. So all in due time. You just got to be patient about it. It's just those things where patience it pays off, you know. So
and you look at again Israel Adesanya, a great example, who reached the UFC in his late 20s, and was really intentional with why he did that, you know, turning down fight camps with other professional fighters who he thought he might run into. It's a marathon, not a sprint, eh?
It is a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah. And for me especially, it's a long game. Where this sport, well, sports in general, the careers aren't long, you know. You eventually have to hang up the gloves, and where you're taking shots, you know, not just on the day in the fight, but training. You know, you're training, sparring, like it all kind of just takes its toll on the body, especially the brain. And the brain can't really handle that for, you know, 20 years or so, like that, something like that. So I'm just here where, MMA, especially now that it's gone, it's blown up, it's mainstream as it gets, you know, everyone's talking about the UFC, everyone's talking about the Adesanyas and the Dan Hookers, you know. So it's one of those things where the opportunities are there now, especially for New Zealanders and Kiwis. So it's just all about jumping on those opportunities. And even though those opportunities are there, you still have to put on the work. Like, you know, you might just come up against one of these Dagestani cats and have your whole body melted.
Bro, if you're fighting anyone with a beard like that, like, fucking run.
Alhamdulillah.
Some Amish beards.
Yeah, definitely run.
Built
maybe
different.
The other direction. Oh, built different, bro. Those guys, crazies.
Do you worry or pay much attention? I'm sure you do, around the sort of trauma, like brain trauma that professional fighting and even on the amateur circuit can bring up with.
Yes.
What's your perspective and view on that, bro?
It's so hard. It's so hard, especially just because it doesn't take much. With all the science around concussions now, like you know, especially in rugby and stuff, like it seems like it doesn't take much, and that's why these careers are so short lived. You know, you only have so much time before you kind of lose your mind a little bit, especially once you kind of I mean, if you're taking these massive knockouts and stuff like that. Like for instance, Mike Cuppy, who obviously in his final got absolutely
that was scary,
demoed.
man.
Yeah, he
That
was out for like
scary.
you know.
Yeah.
He was out for more than a minute, and he's fighting another 4-man this weekend.
Is he?
Yep.
Fuck.
So
probably not the smartest move, eh?
No, it's not. So for me, like I've doctor's orders was 4 to 5, but I've given myself 6 weeks.
Nice.
Just for, you know, completely no sparring, just because I still kind of want my brain once I finished up.
It's a smart approach.
Yeah. So you got to take concussions very seriously, just because, and like, bro, what I've been experiencing in these last 4 weeks in terms of mood swings, and pretty much I've been, you know, more or less depression, or maybe it's athlete's depression, but it's been hard, man. Like, and it's all probably from the concussion. So it's just a shit feeling. It's a shit feeling having a concussion. So I don't know if you've ever had like a proper concussion before, but
no, I got knocked out once playing football.
Yeah, right.
Just hit my head on like some hard grass during summer. But nothing serious. I think a doctor just told me to stay away from screens for a while.
Yes, and that's exactly what I haven't been doing. So
on the old TikTok.
Not quite TikTok, but just maybe a bit of YouTubes and all that. But it's just so hard to get away from the phone, you know. So.
It is. It controls us.
Yes.
Fuck. Like, I love the journey you're on, and all of the other boys. You know, we got Jack up in Auckland.
Big ups, Jack.
So many of the boys are getting into fighting now. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But
especially now you've started your little jiu-jitsu journey too.
Yeah, man.
You've got a bit of a taste for it.
Bro,
of a taste.
I fucking love it. It's the most humbling thing ever. Like just being so shit at something is like the best feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst feeling, but it's, you know, every time you go into the jiu-jitsu class, especially when you're a white belt, you're learning something new. It's like, what? I can rotate my wrist this way and I can like finish a choke better. Yeah. It's like the most technical fucking sport ever.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's just like, it's crazy how like you can break it down to the molecular level. Like it's crazy. Like there's just, especially when it's gi, like there's just so many ways you can fuck yourself really. And there's so many ways you can fuck your opponent. Like all it takes is one wrong grip and then your whole world's over, you know? Bro. So whereas with no gi, you can kind of just scramble out of any position, you know? But if you come against someone that knows how to grip properly and just knows where they're supposed to be, it's all like, it's just, it can turn into a completely a chess match.
Yeah, it's so technical, man. And what I love about it is you can have like 20 kgs on somebody. You can be rolling with a female who you're noticeably stronger than. But if they know their shit, they will fuck you up. Yeah, like they will fuck you up big time.
Yes, most definitely. And it's all in the technique. It's all in the technique. Like, and then with the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu compared to other sports is it's a self-defense on the sport. It's a self-defense on the side. So when you do get into proper altercations in life, you can actually protect yourself because you've studied all of this knowledge just for fun. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, whoa, I can actually do this on the street because I can protect myself on the street. Maybe not necessarily do it for the sake of it, but I can protect.
Some flying arm bars over in Courtney Place, Fuck you.
Just because someone looked at you wrong, But if you get into a proper altercation where you have to defend yourself, you have that ability to, especially for females. Like,
100%, like 100%. I'm going to get my daughter into jits. I think just from self-defense, especially being if you are a female and you got some fucking creep that's jumping on you, just to flick them into, like, put them into a triangle. I reckon they'll actually be such an effective,
most definitely.
Move.
Yep.
But
it's all about I feel, especially with females in terms of self-defense, it's all about the collar grips, you know, just grip out the collars and just
bro. What I was saying earlier though is like with all of the boys entering, you know, the martial arts journey, doing kickboxing, more kickboxing and stuff rather than jits.
Yes.
Like that is the one thing I do worry about is just the brain trauma. And so some of the boys have had some big knocks, and you just think, how many more of them will it take for you to like do the infamous Joe Rogan, Brendan Schaub intervention and be like, hey man, is this really worth it?
Yeah, exactly.
But what can the sport do?
Yeah, it's so hard, man. Especially you look at the UFC where every year you're getting these guys that aren't necessarily, you're getting these athletes that maybe were trying for the NFL or trying for basketball, getting into the sport now, and they're like absolute savages from an athletic perspective. And now they're getting a bit of technique where they're getting these crazy techniques. So there's just knockouts galore, right? So I don't know. What do you do as Uncle Dana, like, to help with concussions and stuff like that?
And
like,
that's their whole, you know, that's their money maker.
Yeah.
Is the knockouts, is the concussion, is the brain trauma.
For sure.
That's how they make their money on the old highlight reel, seeing Francis Ngannou like fucking send somebody to the shadow realm.
Yeah.
Maybe they could put controls in place, like if you're fighting.
Well, definitely stand downs, I feel like, definitely long stand downs.
I think refs could have a play in it. Or maybe if you reach a certain amount of KOs in a year, like it's like, hey mate.
Yeah. Maybe reel it in a little bit.
Totally.
But yeah, it's so hard, man, just because especially with concussions, everyone's so different. Everyone reacts to concussions so differently. And it's really up to the person, I guess, especially at a more or less pro that's not necessarily like on mainstream TV, like just undercard pros and stuff like that. It's one of those things where it's really just up to you, you know, and what do you feel like doing? So
what has martial arts brought to your life, bro?
Oh,
How's it changed your
everything,
life?
Well, to me, like, this is, martial arts is a lifelong thing, especially in terms of jiu-jitsu and all of that. Like, I've been wanting to fight in the cage since I was 7 years old. You know, like, everyone was always like, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" Like 7 years old, and I was like, "Man, I want to be a cage fighter." Like,
Where did that come
yeah.
from? Did you
I
like
have
see
no
somebody
idea,
do it,
dude.
or
Yeah, so I guess the earliest memory I have of like cage fighting or MMA was Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner, the first like tough, the Ultimate Fighter finale. So this was like, it was way before, way after it actually had aired or was live. I didn't even know when I watched. I was 6 or 7, and I saw it on TV, and I was like, whoa, I'm doing this.
Crazy.
I'm doing this, and then like ever since then, that's all I've been wanting to do as a career. So
I'm just imagining like your teacher, like all these other kids.
Like,
I want to
no
be
shit.
a doctor.
Yeah.
I want to be like,
Yeah.
I want to fucking hurt people.
in the nicest way possible. Yeah, but like straight up, I'd get in trouble because like there was this one teacher, Miss Maxwell, I think her name was.
Shout out.
Yeah, shouts to Miss Maxwell. Yeah, cheers for your input. Thanks. And she was like, well, she was just trying to help, but like she was just like, you know, you can't. This isn't like an option as a career. Like you can't do this as a career. And I was like, no, this is what I'm gonna be doing. This is Mate, I think it was like maybe like year 9 or 10. I was like, I'm gonna be an MMA fighter. Like this is just how it is.
Wow.
And I'm just gonna train full time. And then she's like, well, no, you can't. You know, you have to actually make a proper living. And how are you gonna live when you're like this and that? Yeah, there's just
You
a
need
job.
to follow the rat race, Corin.
Yeah, exactly. And I was
Hate
just
that
like,
shit.
nah, man, I'm just gonna fight.
Yeah.
And a couple of years later, I'm still a fair amount away from that. Still got a bit of time before I was doing the switch to the cage, but stepping stones.
What confidence has martial arts given you?
Yeah, it's a buzzy one because I started off with Wing Chun Kung Fu.
In Kung Fu,
Yeah.
true.
But Ip Man, have you ever seen the movie Ip Man?
Nah.
Oh, okay. It's so Ip Man was a Chinese, Wing Chun Kung Fu master. He like taught Bruce Lee. He was one of the Bruce Lee's first senseis. So, I started that when I was like maybe 8 or 9, and then from there I think I was about 12 when I walked into Oliver MMA with Eugene Hinson and started jiu-jitsu and started kickboxing and started MMA. So, it's always kind of been a part of me. I started martial arts before I hit puberty, so it's kind of just always been a natural thing to me.
Yeah, right.
And I grew up with it. I grew up around it. So I've never really thought about it that much in terms of what kind of confidence it has brought me. But I guess it has brought me quite a fair amount just because in myself, out of the gym and out of combat sports in general, I'm not really a violent person. That's just not the kind of person I am, you know? So I wasn't brought up as a violent person. So it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
When, you know, I was like brought up by hippies. I was brought up by, sorry, whichever that, you're good. Sorry, dude. I get a bit fidgety.
No, you're fine.
I was brought up by like, you know, like vegans and stuff like that. And, you know, they'd praise Jah every day and stuff like that. So, and so when I said from quite a young age that, damn, I want to be an MMA fighter, like, it's like, well, okay, like, what are you on about? You know?
Yeah.
So I've never really been a violent person out of the cage. So it's never really kind of occurred to me to hurt someone unless it's, you know, they're trying to pay me for it. So
yeah, bro.
I
It's
don't know.
it is crazy. I was talking to Jack, our amazing camera fellow, behind the scenes man, when you were like showing up when we were prepping for this. I was like, you'll hear Corin speak, you'll sense his energy and his vibe, and you'll never know. You'll never be able to guess that, like, you know, you're a fucking savage inside the ring. Why are so many, like, and there's so many fighters like that where you just have no idea. It's like they've got this inner, I don't know how to frame it. Just this inner confidence, or they're just comfortable in themselves.
Comfortable. Yeah. And that is exactly what it is. They're comfortable in their own skin. And that's because they train like fucking animals for, you know, 4 or 5 hours a day, and then still having to go to work. So you still have to go to work. Well, most athletes do anyways. And I guess that in itself is quite humbling. And once you kind of branch out of the gym and into normal life, it's just like, I can't be fucked for any altercations, you know. I can't, like, bro, I'm too tired for that. Yeah. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Let's just hug it out. We'll just hug it out. It's all good.
Do you get, like, especially now since, you know, your image is growing, you're building your own profile, you've been on national television, fucking people up. Do you get some people almost putting a hiss on you? Have you sensed that? Or being a bit too cheeky on the piss?
Oh, yes and no. Yes and no. I've never had someone take it too far yet. But nah, not yet. Not yet. But I feel like now because, obviously the name's starting to get a bit out there. Everyone's, in these last 4 weeks, everyone's been kind of treating me different, which is pretty interesting. Like everyone, all of a sudden it's just like, it wasn't like, anything really. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, but that's all good. It's just how it is, I guess. That's just part of the sport. Once you kind of start to get a couple of good wins and such like that.
Yeah. Can you take us back to your first ever fight? How long were you training before your first fight, and how did the fight pan out?
So jiu-jitsu, I was competing in jiu-jitsu since I was since I started, which was about 12 years old. But my first kickboxing fight, I think I was 14 against, he might have been like 15 or 16. Yeah, so we were both quite young. And it's hard to remember just because it was quite a long ago. And I've had a fair amount of head knocks since then.
Is it not something that you can remember really clearly? Like
I can. I'm picturing it in my head, but it's just like any other fight. Obviously, you're walking in pretty nervous just because you've never experienced a fight before and what it's like to be in the ring when people are watching you. Like it's quite a nerve-wracking thing for most people. So that first time I was just like, and I think I won. So with novices back then, I don't think there was a winner actually. So it was like they both put like,
right, you both winners.
Yeah, pretty much. But I felt like I won. Yeah. So I think I gave him. Gave him a bit of a blood nose even. So, and then I think after that, my second fight wasn't very much long after that, and then so that was with like 16-ounce gloves and shin pads. And then when my first amateur fight, I was 17 against like this 30-year-old.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Talk us through what that's like, being a teenager fighting a grown man.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I was pretty nervous for that fight just because of that. He's a grown-ass man, and I'm just this kid.
He's got hair on his balls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've like just kind of getting little bum fluffs. So
cracking some highs.
Yeah, pretty much. My first kickboxing fight with no shin pads and 10-ounce gloves. It was pretty interesting. I did pretty well. Like I pretty much kicked his ass for 3 rounds. Like went the distance. I think I got a good standing 8 count on him, and then it was like I thought my shins were going to be real sore. Like kicking his shins.
So that was without shinies?
Yeah, first time with no shin pads. So I thought that was going to be real sore, but I guess the adrenaline was pumping and I was like, oh, it's not even that bad. Keep kicking him. Yeah. So, and then that was my first kickboxing fight. I was 17. And then my first MMA fight, which was maybe 6 months later, I was still 17. And that was also against another 30-something-year-old. And
crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That camp, I trained really hard for that fight. And I finished him in the second round. I broke his ribs in the second round, and just pounced on him, which was it was a good watch, and it was a good it was on one of the biggest promos in New Zealand for MMA, which is Shuriken. Shuriken's a really good promo to be on. So, and I was 17 and kicking some 30-year-old's ass. When it was
bro, not only are you getting your ass beat and your ribs broken, you're losing to a teenager. Oh, mate.
And he'd be like, "What?" So I was supposed to lose that fight. Like, he was obviously the favorite.
Yeah, he would have been like me. This guy.
I think he'd already
debut.
had like 6 fights or something like that.
Shit.
Yeah. So, and this was my MMA debut. So it was it's just one of those things where if you know in yourself that you want to win that bad, like you're gonna win, and you'll win at any cost. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard it is. If you want to win, you can win. Like that's just how it is. And so for me, going into that fight, I knew that everyone was kind of doubting me. Like there was a couple instances where I was talking to people with other people from other gyms, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. He's real good," and shit like that. And to me, I was just like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Like I'm in here to do what I do and to be myself. So yeah, we kind of made the walk, and then the first round was a bit of a filling out process, and then he actually split my lip at the end of the first, which I don't know if you can kind of still
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
is that from that
Yeah.
souvenir?
Yeah, a bit of a souvenir. It was a head clash. And yeah, he split my lip, and then right at the end of the first, I like pounced on him just a little bit and kind of got this little flurry, and I thought the fight was over. I was like, oh shit, the fight's over, and then I looked back and I was like, because the ref pulled me off, and I was like, oh yo, the fight's over, and then it was the end of the round. I was like, oh okay,
fuck,
that's all
here
good.
we go again.
Yeah, and then round 2 kind of happened. It was a bit of a filling out process, and then he like stepped into southpaw. I managed to like clinch him up and then knee him in the ribs, and then he kind of like went over a little bit, and I just followed up, boom, kneed him again in the ribs, and then the ref stepped in, and I was 17,
Unreal.
fighting a 30-year-old. I was like, well, okay,
Maybe
this
I'm good at
sport's
this.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what it's supposed to be like, so
something which I've been thinking, and I'd love you to answer this question is. Do you think there are things that fighters experience or understand that somebody who doesn't fight will never know?
Most definitely.
What are they?
Themselves. Yeah. You meet most fighters that have competed at a professional level for, X amount of time in terms of athleticism, self-development. They know themselves like no one else, You spend so much time battling your own demons, in terms of your running, your training, your eating schedules. You have to be so strict with everything and so strict with yourself, not just in those ones, but with your brain too, with your mind. You have to be like, you've got to commit to those manifestations in yourself and those manifestations around the sport, around your life, what it's like in camp. And there's nothing that anyone can take away from you when you're in a camp mode, because you're just so zeroed in. And especially when you're at that professional level where you've got nothing, you're focusing on nothing but this fight you're having in 6-7 weeks, So I feel, the biggest part, especially for fighters, when you meet fighters, properly meet fighters, especially good fighters that are knockout artists, like they know themselves better than anyone, Yeah, so just because they spend a lot of time with themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just me. I feel like,
That's a good take though, because it's just like nothing else, stepping into a cage and fighting another man. I think it's something that so many people, it's in their wildest dreams that they'll ever lace up gloves and fight somebody.
Yeah, you really got to back yourself, man, because obviously you're always going to have people backing you, no matter who you are. But if you don't have your own back, what's the point of even fighting, really?
Yeah, bro. What does the road look like for an aspiring fighter? On the grind like yourself. I still find it fucking crazy how you can't, like, it's so hard to make money when you're first starting. And even the local shows around Porirua, like you've headlined so many of them, and do you get any money from it?
I haven't got it. Oh, the only cent I've got is from King of the Ring, which was 4 weeks ago, was the first time ever getting paid. And so these last 5, maybe 6 fights, all main events, and none of them have been paid for. And that's just because promoters don't have the money to put up fighters like that, So unless you've already kind of made a name for yourself on King of the Ring, you can't really make any money, just because.
Mate, give them something. Give them a box of beers.
Tell
give
me
them
about
like
something,
fucking,
something. They're like, oh, we're paying for the title. And it's just like, bro, I don't give a fuck about the title. Give me something. Yeah, give me a box of beers, something like
100%.
that.
100%.
Yeah. And it's just like, and that's why you have this kind of stigma at the moment in New Zealand combat sports, is like, someone will fight for, like, how you kind of see all these photos of like these guys with like fucking 20 titles all around, and it's just like, whoa, that's so impressive. But it's like, how many times have they defended a title?
Yeah,
they haven't defended it. It's a trophy. It's a trophy. Bouts are trophies in New Zealand. So, like, literally, even so my WKBF title, even though it's not very often in New Zealand that people defend their titles, right? So for me to defend my title against someone, so I won the title with that spinning back elbow, And then,
that was me, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was like, that was pretty crazy.
That was
actually.
fucking nuts.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you know how I was talking about, I visualized King of the Ring, bro. I visualized that. I told my coach, I was like, man, I really feel like I'm going to get a spinning back elbow on this fight. And then, he was kind of, because this, with elbow, so he was throwing some elbows.
Yep.
And he was kind of like doing like a step in and then elbow.
Yep.
Step in, elbow. And he stepped. I was like, what else is he going to throw? I was like, fuck it. Boom. Threw it. Landed. Fight's over.
Where did it hit him? Like, where in the head?
Like
was it temple?
It was just a bit behind the ear. Just a bit behind the ear. Like, but yeah, they say that it's more or less you're not really supposed to hit there, but Muay Thai, like, no one really cares. Yeah.
Do you feel
it happens all the time,
like when you knock somebody out, does that shot feel so clean you barely feel it, or can you feel that impact?
In that instance, like, so
you knew you turned away, turned around straight away.
Yeah, like, he dropped on the ground, and I was like, it's over. I was like, oh. I was trying to be cool. I was trying to be cool about it, but in my head, I was like, oh shit, that just happened. I was like,
what a feeling!
Shit.
That must be the most electric feeling.
Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling, man.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good feeling, especially when it's something like just a walk-off KO like that. Like, there's not many things that beat that in terms of dopamine levels. Like,
right,
it's a pretty good feeling.
And we've been on some big sins.
We have indeed.
The old Northern base, the old what was the last one?
The Mardi Gras.
The Mardi Gras.
Yes.
So
countless.
So you're saying there's no feeling that could replace that feeling?
If someone, there's truly. So there's no better feeling than a referee pulling you off, like, straight up. Just because you know it's over, if a referee's pulling you off, it's all done days.
What would you do
if the work's done?
If they turned that into like a pill that you could have?
Yeah, that'd be a crazy pill. Bro.
Would you be a drug addict?
No, because I can just go and do it by myself. Anyways.
Do it in person.
Yeah.
You get it for free.
Yeah. I would be getting it for free.
Maybe you'd be the drug dealer.
Even. Yeah, maybe. Man, that would. that's an interesting one. Yeah. Would you invest in that?
If there was a pill that made you feel like you've just become like the UFC.
I feel like there are already
heavyweight
pills
of the world.
I feel like there are already pills that make you feel like that.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I'd fucking invest in that.
Yeah,
if it was legal,
of course.
Of course. Don't want any black market shit. Yeah.
Not on the beyond the surface.
No, mate.
Beyond the surface scandal.
Exposed.
Yeah.
How have you seen the sort of fight game change with the rise of social media? You see, you know, the Conor McGregor has sort of paved the way to making a fuck ton of money, and Floyd Mayweather. It's like the trash talk. With the personalities and the brands that you have to almost mold out of yourself. Yes. Are you like, you're a really smart guy. You're fucking got the Instagram going and everything. Do you take that in mind? And because you got to build your brand,
got to build yourself.
Right? You got to build your brand.
It's all about brands now.
Yeah.
You know? Like, so especially where, as we said, like, it's hard to make money in the sport. So what gets views? Social medias, right? Yep. So having proper social medias where you are, more or less staying active on it, more or less just showing who you are. Like, it has to be done, and it's not just in combat sports, but I feel like just in business in general, right? Like, every kind of business more or less has a social media. So if they're building that business in their brand, it could be anything, building business, beyond the surface, like anything. You have to build your brand.
Those smarts now,
You gotta get those views. You gotta get those views, and unfortunately, it sucks to say it, but that's in this day and age, that's what matters, especially when you look at the likes of the UFC and stuff like that. All they care about is how many pay-per-views are you selling, you know? So, and so I think it's definitely changed a lot from what it was 10 years ago, you know? So, it has to be done. It has to be done, especially if you want to make some money off it.
Yeah. So, like, if you were going to trash talk me right now, Like, we're at a press conference. What are you saying to me?
Oh, dude, you're calling me out like that.
Bro, what are you going to say?
No, don't do me like this. No,
I'm going to fuck you up in this fight, mate. Red panty night, baby.
Oh, no. Make my money, Noah. Sell the fight, Noah. Sell the fight. Yeah.
It's Have you got that sort of...
Have I got that energy? I don't know if I have that energy in me. Like,
I feel like somebody else brought that energy to you.
Yeah. I mean, press conferences are press conferences. Like, I don't want to say something now and then like 10 years down the road when I am in a press conference, like I'm completely opposite, you know, I've sold my soul to the brands and, you know, so,
yeah.
Nah, I feel like I'd be pretty chill in those, like, cool, calm and collected. Yeah, it's all about the one-liners, eh? It's all about the one-liners in the press conferences.
I feel like you need to have that. You need to talk shit if you want to make like really good money.
Unfortunately, you do. Yeah.
That's just
at the end of the day, you're fighting. Yeah. At the end of the day, you still have to fight. But yeah, if you want to make some money, you kind of have to, you got to promo the fights.
And like everybody has brands now, eh? It's not just businesses. It's like if you think of everybody's Instagram. I suppose
you're right. Yeah. They're all brands now.
They're brands. It's like you actually take consideration on what you're posting on there, what you're not posting on there, how your photos look, what might be like the style of your layout on the Instagram if you're that like fucking hardy about it. But everybody is a brand.
Yeah. Well, what are brands? Brands are just people, I guess.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We're going deep.
Whoa. Beyond the surface, going deep.
I was also keen to talk to you about mental health.
Yes.
And what you do to look after your own mental well-being.
Yes. So, interestingly enough, it's been, especially from the last 4 weeks, my mind has been going into some pretty interesting places that I've not necessarily been in before. Well, that I've been in since I was quite young, 15, 16, where everyone kind of goes through those kind of stages anyways, as being a teenager and coming into age and coming into who you are. So being back in that place, being back in that hole has been pretty interesting, just because it's one of those ones where I feel like in myself, it was just, I've kind of gotten over it, but it's one of those ones where it's just a bit of athlete's depression, now that.
What is athlete's depression?
So it is, athlete's depression is quite interesting just because it affects everyone so differently, but especially in terms of what kind of sports you're doing, but it is quite common in combat sports just because it's so, you train for 8 weeks straight, hard training, like you push your body to complete limits that you don't even know that you're being able to do, so, and then it's just, twice a day, every day, 3 times a day, on top of work too, having a strict routine, showing up every day, and you have to perform, so, and then all of a sudden, you do nothing. The camp's over, you're finished. You kind of resting. Well, in myself, I've kind of have that 3 week, 4 week stint of doing absolutely nothing. So eating like shit. So for me, these 4 weeks have been. I've been in a bit of a hole these last 4 weeks. So obviously coming to the end of it now. So what I feel that comes down to in terms of athlete's depression is routine and breaking that routine. So once you kind of break that routine of being so physical and being so active 24/7 and then going from everyday training to absolutely nothing, absolutely zilch, resting, eating like shit, it's it takes its toll on the body and you don't even realize it. Especially with the concussion too, all of a sudden you're on top of the world and then a few seconds later, you just want to just hurt something, and I've never really kind of been yes, I do compete in a violent sport, but I've never really been a violent person out of the ring. So for me, I think it's just staying in routine. So now that I've kind of got a more or less a routine back, it's my mental health is kind of leveled out a little bit. But what I do in terms of mental health and exercises is a lot of mindfulness, like a lot of meditation. Like meditation is probably, the thing that saved me in these last 4 weeks, just because it helps you clear your mind and being able to accept those thoughts as what they are rather than just letting them take your brain, and then kind of just being able to put them aside and manage them, but not have them fully in your road, so, which is a hard thing to do, and not everyone has the ability to do that. So I was kind of blessed in the sort of, I was brought up around mindfulness, I was brought up around people being able to teach me what it was to be mindful and, how to meditate correctly. So
who taught you that?
Lots of people in my life. Yeah. So as I said before, I was kind of brought up by hippies. So as I'm sure you more or less were too.
Yeah, bro, absolutely. I was at like bloody river festivals up in like Livin and shit.
Yes, dude.
All my mum's mates had like bells on their feet
and
drawing chalk drawings on the pavement.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. So yeah, I was but for the most part it was my nan that taught me most of my mindfulness, and obviously my mum and other friends too. But yeah, it's an interesting subject, the old mental health, because everyone suffers from it, man. And your own worst enemy is yourself, or or it's your best friend. But it just depends on the day. Yeah, it really depends on the day. So, yeah,
100%. Is that something as you like build your brand and your identity and profile as an athlete that you'll be continue to be vocal on?
I think it has to be, man. Especially with the last generation, or our parents, it wasn't vocal on at all. No one talked about mental health at all. And so it's just one of those things, just like the science of concussions, like everything, it's growth. And it's just one of those things that has to be talked about. There's nothing better than having someone close to you. There's nothing better than saying how you feel to someone close to you than someone that can understand, right? So it's just being able to accept that being able to accept that they're not going to judge you for how you feel, So it's all about just being open with someone that's close to you.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. It was really interesting. I think a third guest I had on the podcast was Jahan Kasnada.
Yep.
And he's a TV journalist. And more recently, he's written a book about his sort of journey and experience battling with mental health and his own demons.
Yep.
And because he comes from this sort of storytelling background, being a journo, the way he's navigated the space of mental health is he believes, there's stories that we tell each other every morning when we wake up. There's a narrative that you play in your head around who you are, the connections that you have. It's that little demon inside of you that's like, fuck, you look like shit today.
Yes.
Or, why are you being so fucking lazy lately, Noah? It's all of those things. Or you should have done better at that training. Or you should have, why did you make that comment at work?
Yeah.
So his whole concept is if you learn to change that narrative and that voice inside of your head, that's where you can start to see some benefits.
Yeah.
But I also love the Māori concepts, of the four walls.
Yes.
Where you've got, your spiritual health, you got your physical, you got your mental.
Yep.
To say spiritual and family and
and your family. Yeah.
And that just makes perfect sense, right? You got to build up that foundation. And if something's missing, the house isn't going to stand up. It all tumbles down.
Yeah, definitely. And that's exactly, he nailed it on the head. Like, it's all about your narrative and being able to not necessarily control that narrative, control that voice in the head, because you can't. Like, you're never going to be able to turn those voices off for anyone. Like, everyone gets those thoughts in their head, So it's more just being able to accept that they are there and put them to the side.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do. Especially when you are waking up in a state where, like you say, man, you were just so fucking lazy yesterday, or you ate way too much yesterday, you fat fuck. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But it's that, and that's what comes down to mindfulness is accepting that those feelings are there and just letting them be. Without them having to interact with you, with your true self. So
I think it's also like you've got meditation, which you rely on, and that's something which you can rely on to get you through hard things as a consistent and constant thing in your life. I think people, and I'm no mental health expert, but it's something which I'm learning with age, is you've got to find you've got to find what those things are. What are those avenues that make you happy, that make you feel better? Is it going on a 5-minute walk after after work?
Yes.
Is it seeing your son, seeing your daughter? Is it hanging out with your family or seeing your friends? Like everybody's got something which gives them some sort of joy and can reset them. But I just think so many people don't know what that is yet.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of it, what it can come down to is, like, for me, when I'm not hydrated, that's like when I'm most susceptible to the demons, like controlling my mind, you know? So when I'm not like, so if I kind of feel myself starting to think a bit negative, especially at work, I'll just be like, man, fuck, like just angry for no reason or frustrated, or just be like, man, maybe I'm just a bit dehydrated. Have a couple sips and I'll be like, oh shit, man, I just needed some water. I was just a bit thirsty.
Yeah, bro.
And then obviously other times it's not to that extent.
Yeah.
But what can help is definitely physical activity, right?
100%.
Yeah. So it can be easy as just literally going for a walk, or or definitely running, or even like saunas. I don't know if you've much of a sauna partaker, but you always feel better after a sauna. Like no matter what kind of mood you're in, you always feel better after a sauna, and you always sleep really good after a sauna too. So yeah, definitely. The local pool always has a good sauna, so get amongst the sauna.
You're a local in the old company,
yeah, most definitely. I fucking love that place. I love that place. Yeah, you can get some characters coming in the sauna, but for the most part, do you
talk to them, or is it just like you just stare at them?
Oh, it depends what kind of mood you're in, I guess. But there's some interesting chat some days at the sauna, but it's mainly just people getting along with their life.
Yeah,
they need to sweat it out of some sorts, and it's just there's a good little community down there. Yeah, it's fun times. It's fun times at the sauna.
I totally think like social media has a massive role to play in, I guess, the mental health crisis that we're seeing at the moment. Like there's that good quote, that famous one. Don't know who said it, but comparison is the thief of joy. So when you're comparing yourself to other people, whether it's your job or your status or where you are in life, you won't see the good in what you already have.
Yes.
You'll be, comparing yourself next to fucking, Kim Kardashian or whoever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think social media is the window where you make those comparisons across everything.
Yeah, especially for those next generations that have been growing up with social media. Pretty much.
I worry about it for my daughter.
For your daughter.
Like, it's,
man.
Like, when's the right age to get a phone? It's something I've been juggling with. Yeah. It's like, when you get a phone, you never don't have a phone again.
Yeah, exactly.
You have that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And just the amount of bullying and shit on there. But at the same time, like, an amazing way to be connected with, family. And there's so many pros to it. There's a really cool new social media app. Don't know if you heard of it. It's called like Be Real.
Oh, yeah. I know Be Real. Yeah.
And that, I don't know, it might just mean that you're on social media a lot more, but I'm not on it myself, but I've seen people who are, and the whole idea is, is like, just be real. Like, take a photo of you right now at 5:24 on a Monday, and post it. It's like, fuck the filters.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be real.
That sounds like an advertisement for Be Real. And the next sponsor for the podcast.
And a sponsor break, Be Real.
Straight up though, if anyone wants to sponsor the potty.
Yeah.
Spates, ultra low.
Ultra low carb, Spates. Oh, delicious.
Delicious. The best succulent drink you ever drink.
Yeah. Still got to pay for it though, unfortunately. Spates.
I think it would be a good business proposition.
Yeah, it's like, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense, especially with like all the social media that's going on right now. And like beyond the surface, it's starting to pop off a bit.
Mate, after we release this episode with Corin, it's just gonna fucking skyrocket. Here we go.
We'll see.
Let's go.
But surely Spates.
Do you believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens? How can you not? With all the shit that's coming out, dude, all these things, like, obviously it must have been about last year when they started dropping all these videos, the CIA and whatever, whoever it was, NSA or whatever the fuck it was, dropping all these videos. Yeah. And they're like, whoa, it's getting kind of scary. And they're like, it's not us.
But
Well,
why?
then who is it?
Why would they release that though? What's the point?
Exactly,
Like, that's what I'm stuck on.
especially when it was, in the mix of the pandemic, like.
Yeah, well, they're trying to like smoke screen for something else.
Or what about? Did you see that? There was that footage of that. Was it a meteor or was it like a comet?
In New Zealand?
Yeah. It was like that
Buzzy
big
is.
explosion. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Was it a meteor? Was it a meteor? Who knows,
Maybe it was
man?
pathways to the next dimension.
You think so?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Imagine seeing that live though. That would have been crazy.
Yeah. I reckon for a moment you'd think that we're gonna die. You'd be like, "That's the fucking meteor that's gonna."
Yeah.
end
Imagine
the Earth.
not knowing, but before. Imagine 15th century and seeing the exact same thing.
Oh, dude, seeing a shooting star.
You'd think that,
you'd be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, you'd think that it's the apocalypse, right?
What do you think aliens would do if they came down here?
I feel if they came down here,
yeah,
that'd be pretty peaceful. I feel like that'd be pretty peaceful.
I don't know.
And then I reckon we'd try and fuck them up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about we switch it? What if we found a planet in, I don't know, 200 years now from the future, we find a planet and there's like cavemen on there. What would we do? Would we watch or would we interfere? I reckon we'll colonize the fuck out of it. We'd take all of their resources. Like, that's just would be horrible,
What
man.
are their resources, though? They're cavemen.
Don't have some, like, alien stones or something, like, who knows? Or would farm them, like.
Yeah. Oh, what if we started farming them?
Dude, if you think about what we do to animals, if you think about a cow, right, for the dairy industry.
Yep.
We impregnate a cow for, like, 7 or 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
We take away its babies from the day they're born.
Yep.
The mother starts grieving.
Yes.
And now it's lactating and we steal its calves' milk and we consume it for ourselves.
Also, it can be fully stocked in a supermarket, right? Like, just because the shelves in a supermarket, they have to be stocked.
That's right.
They have to be stocked. What happens if they're not stocked?
That's right.
Oh my God, it's chaos. It's chaos if they're not stocked, right?
Yeah.
And it's all because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. See, why wouldn't an alien farm us?
What if they already are farming us?
Oh.
Maybe not.
Like how?
Maybe not. I don't know
With our
exactly.
time?
Yeah.
Like,
Without time.
They've set the structure for us to work.
Yeah.
And they're like, they get some benefit out of like us. I don't know.
Oh, they get a bit of a dopamine hit off all the work that they do.
Yeah.
Or what if they're just filming us? That's like their own reality TV show.
Like some Big Brother stuff.
Yeah.
What's that? The Truman Show.
Oh, really? Is that what that's based off?
Oh, no, it's not. Truman Show's where Jim Carrey finds out that there's like a camera crew following him.
Oh,
and his whole life is like a reality TV show.
Right. Yeah, that's Earth.
Yeah.
Alien. What would its name be?
Dude,
It would just be Earth.
crazy. I reckon we'll find, like, in our lifetime for sure, we'll see some massive development in like life beyond Earth.
Mars, bro. You want to go to Mars?
Mars, I don't know if I'd do it. Like,
There's not much on Mars, bro.
nah. Like, okay.
You'd have to build your own colony, bro.
It would be a good ego stroke to be like the first
Yeah,
person
bro.
to go to Mars. You'll be immortalized.
I mean, it's a
forever.
one-way trip. It's a one-way trip.
Yeah, one-way
You're not
trip.
coming back.
Like,
And you're living in a desert. Do you want to really live in a desert?
no, not really.
No.
Not really. And like, what's the
And
ride
I mean,
over there
like,
like?
yeah.
Are you in like first class or an economy?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's not really much oxygen on Mars either.
No, you probably have to live in like some industrial
Yeah.
like warehouse.
Mm. Did they really think this through? I don't think they've thought this through, eh?
Nah, I think Elon's fucked it.
I don't know, man. I heard that he was like trying to get out of the deal with Twitter.
Yeah. He was. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but I don't really want it anymore.
He backs out. It's like the biggest news story of fucking ever. And he's just like,
just a bit of a
psych.
psych.
I reckon if I was a billionaire, I would. I'd do some like. Imagine what you could do if like money isn't an issue at all. I'd just do some real weird shit. Like I read this.
Like what kind of weird shit are we talking about?
Like
bro?
okay, I'm at a restaurant and I'm at like Charlie Noble at some like really high end restaurant, and I just keep ordering
like a pizza restaurant.
Nah, probably
Okay.
like some Italian restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And I just keep ordering like a glass of milk to like a table, and the way like I'm just like, oh yeah, cool, get them a glass of milk. You know, the table over there in the corner. And then the waiter would be like, here's a glass of milk. And the people on the table would be like, where did this piece of milk come from? And then the waiter would come back and be like, do you want anything more for our dinner menu? I'd be like, send him 2 more glasses of milk. And he'd be like, no, sir, I can't do that. And I'd pay him like $50. I'll pay him to keep doing it. I'll just do random shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
I'll just fuck with people's lives.
Yeah.
What would you do?
If I was a billionaire, bro, I'd probably just caravan the world, to be honest.
It's so wholesome.
Yeah, to be honest.
I was just talking about like giving glasses of milk away. You're like, I want to find my soul.
Just go see the world, bro. I feel like if I was a billionaire, I'd probably just caravan the world. Especially in places, just go see like all different countries and shit like that. And you don't have to worry about like, especially I feel the reason you are caravanning is because that's like the cheapest way to go see the world, But like you can do it the cheapest way, but still not have to worry about like running out of money,
100%. We got some sort of quick fire questions before we wrap this thing up.
Yes.
And we'll end on a bit of a quote as well.
Pardon me.
Corin, what is the meaning of life?
Life is food.
Nice.
Food is good.
Nice, I like that one. What brings you true happiness and joy?
There's a lot of things. Mainly, wholesome conversations with my friends.
Cheers, brother. 1 month of the northern base gastro bug, or you feel dusty for 6 months of the year?
1 month.
So you have 1 month of, what we all call that northern base bug. Gastro.
Terrible.
It's coming out of your mouth. It's coming out of your, like it's
both ends.
Yeah.
Both ends.
Or you just feel like you're hungover for 6 months.
Yeah. Bit of a 1 month, 6 months. I'm gonna have to take the 1 month.
The 1 month, get over and done with.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Advice you wish you knew about when you were younger? Taxes. How to pay them? Yeah. Have you not been paying your taxes?
I've had to learn. Yeah, okay. Not the hard way though, so it's okay.
What does legacy mean to you?
Legacy means to me so they can remember the name.
If you could change one thing in New Zealand, what would this be? Oh, yo. What do you believe is the main thing that's holding back young people in New Zealand?
Vapes.
So true. So good.
Gets everyone. It gets everyone.
That peach ice flavour.
It's a terrible contraption, eh? Yeah. It gets everyone too. It gets everyone.
Yeah. That's a really good answer. I love how much time you spend thinking about them as well. Okay, we'll end on this quote, and I've written this down as a mysterious Corin Instagram quote. I saw what you posted on the gram the other day. I don't know who the fuck wrote it, but you shared it, and it sounded pretty cool. The most convincing sign that someone is truly living their best life is their lack of desire to show the world that they're living their best life. Yeah. Your best life won't seek validation.
Yes.
Cheers, brother.
Praise Jah. Thank you very much for having me, Noah.
Love you, man.
I love you too, brother.